Luz y progreso. This is your luz y progreso. This is tu brujo favorito, Sancista Brujo Luis. So it feels like I have not done a video in a while. I have been super busy. I have my clients, I have my family, and so I have not been able to record a video in some time, but I'm back. So if you follow my channel, you know that this channel, Sancista Brujo Luis, it deals with Hispanic espiritismo, espiritismo or spiritism as practiced in the Caribbean, Hispanic folk magic within the Caribbean, Latin America. I also speak about Sanse and Taino Seminismo, which is a spirituality that's from the Caribbean. And I talk about a lot of just folk magic and stuff like that. And so this is what the premise of my channel is. One of my favorite subjects is perfumes. How we use perfumes in magic, especially within the Caribbean and Latin folk magic. So if you've seen my videos before, you have seen that I have spoken about the infamous Florida water, El Agua Florida, which is one of the fragrances that I buy the most during a year. I think I buy at least 8 bottles of this because we use this a lot in spiritual cleansings within our misas espirituales, our spiritual gatherings, our sesiones, our veladas. So this is the Peruvian, and this of course is the American. Very popular in South American shamanic work, right? Especially in Peru. I've spoken a lot about La Agua Florida, and in my channel I have also spoken about 4711. This is a small bottle, all right, small vial, and I've spoken about this, so I'm going to leave the links down below if you guys are curious about this. These are spiritual colognes that we use in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, in Santo Domingo, Venezuela, all throughout Latin America, Peru. So I've spoken about El 4711. Okay, this is another cologne that I use a lot spiritually. And one of my favorite fragrance houses that we use for spiritual work, and I've done around 5 videos. I'm going to show you pictures of all the times that I've spoken about this brand. And if you are curious, I'll leave the links down below because I don't want to go too far because I've already spoken so much. But one of my favorite brands is Piver. This is Pompeya. This is the quintessential voodoo. This is the perfume that they use a lot in the fetes, the parties, the parties to the Loa, the Misterios, the Saints. This is the quintessential voodoo perfume, very popular in Espiritismo, in Santeria. In Santeria, this is sacred to Oshun. In Espiritismo, this is sacred, is used as an offering to La Marama, La Congas. I've talked about La Pompeya, sorry about that. I have also talked about Rev d'Or. These are big bottles. I think I go through one of these bottles. I buy this maybe once every 3 years because then I go out of it. And I've also spoken about Heliotrope Blanc, right? Again, check out if you're curious about me speaking about these perfumes or these fragrances. These are not perfumes, actually. These are lociones. Lociones are in the concentration of colognes, all right? So they're very light, all right? So if you're curious about me speaking about these lociones and how we use them in espiritismo, in voodoo, in santeria, again, go check down below because I don't want to go too deep into these because I've spoken so much about these before. So there is a new trend lately in the New Age pagan community where everyone wants to create their version of a Florida water, okay? I've smelled so many, none of them do it for me, right? I'm going to be very honest with you. I have yet to smell a Florida water that smells as good as Murray and Lanlam's. Murray and Lanlam has some history, right? And a lot of people think that this is a Florida water or Agua de Florida is just the name of the cologne, right? It is a cologne. It's a cologne concentration. It's been around for 200 years. There's a lot of history on on how it began to be incorporated into spiritual folk magic in the Caribbean. Maybe I'll talk about that in a little second, but I have yet to smell any brand from witches or people who've created their own version of Florida water that smells like just the Agua Florida, which of course the closest thing you're gonna get is 4711, which is good, right? This is a small bottle. I buy the big bottle, Amazon.com, around $30-$35. The closest thing. This is a beautiful fragrance. So I was at the Botanica today, and of course I saw a LT Piver. Now LT Piver, they're very popular in Europe. They come from France, right? They've been around since the 1700s. And in Europe, they have more brands. Here in the United States, we only can get, well, till recently, we could only get Pompeia, we can get Rêve d'Or, and we can get Heliotrope Blanc. LT Piver has decided to bring out some of their classics and introduce them to the United States. So anyways, I was at a Botanica and I saw these, the typical boxes for Rêve d'Or, Pompeia, and then I saw two boxes and I'm like, wait a second, what are those? Wait, what is this? All right. So I found out that LT Piver is deciding to bring out some of their classic fragrances to the United States markets. These have always been used in Europe, not so much in the United States. I had to pick them up, right? I don't know how much they were, all right? But I'm going to tell you where you can pick them up if you cannot find these in your local Botanica, where you can pick these up. I'm going to smell them for the first time here. But these are from LT Piver, which I'm excited. So the first of the two that I'm going to speak about is à la Reine de la Fleurs. Okay, I'm not French, I'm sorry. But that means to the Queen of Flowers, right? So I'm going to open this up and smell it for the first time. I'm super excited. And here's the bottle. Look at that. And it comes in the same bottle. This is the box. All right. It comes, of course, in that classic bottle as Pompeia. Pompeia has that ambery color. A la Reine de la Fleurs has that minty green flower color that we know and we associate with Florida water. I don't know if you can see that, right? So I'm going to open it and smell it for the first time. I'm super excited. Let me give you a little bit of the history about A la Reine de la Fleurs. So A la Reine de la Fleurs was first introduced or first came out in the year 1774, which predates 4711, which I think came out in 1799 by 25 years. And it predates Marion Landlum's Florida water, which I think came out in 1808. So this predates 4711 by about 25 years. The creator of A la Reine de la Fleurs was a perfumer. His name was Michael Adams, I think his name was. If I'm wrong, I'll put the name somewhere around here. He created this fragrance for King Louis, which I love that name, King Louis of France. King Louis, I think it's the 16th. So he created this fragrance for King Louis. So this has a bit of history. So I'm going to open it for the first time and smell it. Now, if you've ever purchased anything by LT Piver, you know, LT Piver, you know that when you open it, you're going to have that little metal thing that a lot of people don't know how to open. If you have a nail filer, you know that little thing to clean your nails, you can just poke a hole, or you could take a little scissors, be very careful, and you can just set it down somewhere and just poke a hole right into it, which is what I just did. I don't know if you can see that. All right, and then you can pull the whole thing. So this is my first time I'm gonna smell this. Super excited. All right, I'm holding some history. All right, so this is an Eau de Cologne, while the other Pivers or Lociones, which is pretty much the same concentration, but there's a little bit difference, and I'll probably talk about that as well. But let me smell this for the first time. All right. So, let's just splash a little bit in my hand. I'm going to do it spiritually. Oh, wow. Ooh. So this smells, oh my God. This smells, let me make sure. It smells like Florida water, except Florida water has more of a bitter aroma to it, while this, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is the most cleanest, freshest aroma I have ever smelled. It's very clean. There's no alcoholic. You know when you open up Florida water, and like Florida water, when you first use it and you cleanse yourself with it, it has this astringent alcohol aroma to it. A la Reine de la Fleurs does not have that. It's so fresh and so clean. Oh my God. So in Espiritismo, in Santeria, when we cleanse with spiritual colognes, we cleanse our hands with it, breathe into it, and then cleanse where we pick up, a lot of our, negative vibrations, right? Oh my God. Beautiful. Se me para los pelos. Right now I have, what do you call it? Se me para los pelos. Goosebumps, is that what you call it? This is so beautiful. It's very herbally, very citrusy. I got to check out the notes because I don't know the notes by heart. It's so clean. There's no alcoholic smell to it. It is well blended. A lot of people are trying to create modern takes on Florida water or spiritual colognes. Listen, go to the brands that have made them for 300 years, 200 and something years. This is 250 years of history. I don't know the notes. I pick up a lot of citrus. I don't know if there's some citrus, there's some herbal notes in here. I don't know if it's thyme. I don't know. Let me check out the notes. Give me 1 second. So the top notes for A la Reine de la Fleurs are citruses, oranges, lemon. Then its middle notes is lavender. It has some thyme, rosemary, delicious bergamot, and cloves. So it is beautiful. It's got this really beautiful, citrusy, clean aroma that reminds me, if you were to mix 4711 with Florida water. 4711 is very clean, but it has a very bitter note, like bitter oranges, I think it is, that A la Reine de la Fleurs does not have. A la Reine de la Fleurs is very sweet, very citrusy, very clean, very refreshing, and it doesn't have that alcoholic first note that Florida water, has, right? This is a better, of course, quality. You're going to pay much more. In the United States, Florida water, the Peruvian Florida water it ships from Peru, so it's $11, $12. The American Florida water goes for $4.99. Piver, it is a designer house, a niche house of fragrances that have been around for 250 years. This is niche quality. That's good quality fragrance. And you can, it's just beautiful. And you can use this as you would Florida water, as you would 7-Eleven, as you would any spiritual cologne, or as an offering to the spirit. This is top quality. I think this has 4% as an eau de cologne. Eau de cologne has 4% concentration of oils, right? Which is all eau de colognes. It is well blended. You can use this for cleansing, for purifying. It is beautiful. It smells good. Se me para los pelos. I don't know how to say that in English. I can feel like the hairs coming in the back, because this is beautiful, and this is going to be one of my new favorite spiritual colognes that I will use personally when I'm honoring the spiritual, when I want to refresh myself, or when I want to cleanse, whenever there's something negative. This is beautiful. I'm going to let this die down for my skin, see how long it takes before I go to the next cologne by Piver. Listen, go check this out. And I'll let you all know where you guys can pick this up if you guys cannot find this at the Botanicas, local Botanicas near you. This is highly recommended, 10 stars. I love it. It's beautiful. Check it out. A la Reine de la Fleurs. So the next one that I'm going to speak about is also by Piver, ni modo. And this is Eau de Cologne de Princesse. Princess's cologne, right? Taking it out of the box. First time I'm going to smell it. All right. These are both Eau de Cologne de Princesse and both A la Reine de la Fleurs are considered in the fragrance family aromatics. Fougères or aromatic, they're very clean. Fragrances have a wheel of fragrances. There's aromatic, there's florals, there's woodies, there's orientals, and so forth and so on. These are aromatic. I'm gonna say fougère. So, a la Reine de la Fleurs, and they both look pretty much the same color. Yeah. They both look the same color. Maybe Eau de Cologne de Princesse is a little clearer. They're both unisex, both for male, women, people, non-binary people. Anyone can use these. You're going to smell fresh and clean and beautiful. They're not perfumes. They're just meant to refreshen you. And I'm going to speak why we use colognes a lot in spirituality. But anyways, now we're going to try for the first time Eau de Cologne de Princesse, which means princess's cologne. And again, okay, it's got that little metal thing right there, which comes with all Piver colognes, right? So you can use a nail filer or, you know, the little pointy one, or just a tip. Just be careful of the tip of scissors. And it just opens up really easily. Okay. And there's the little hole. All right. I still smell A la Reine de la Fleurs. I still smell it. So I'm going to give it a second more because I don't want this to mix with this. So let me give it a second before, so this can die out. I know I'm rambling. Before I smell this. Eau de Cologne de Princesse was launched in France in 1850. It was popular in the United States in the 1800s, early 1900s. Then it was discontinued in the United States. And now Piver is bringing back a lot of their classic colognes. And since Fleur de Water is one of the quintessential, Fleur de Water and 4711 are dominating the spiritual market, Piver, of course, they dominate with their Pompeia, their Rêve d'Or, their Heliotrope Blanc. They said, well, let's bring back some old classics that are in the line of Fleur de Water. So I'm going to smell for the first time Eau de Cologne de Princesse. All right. Oh, wow. This one smells, okay, so this first came out in 1850. Fleur de Water came out in 1808. So Fleur de Water by Murray and Lanham is older. Oh, wow. Wow. This is friggin' beautiful. This is so nice. I'm just gonna cleanse with it. Ooh, pa' fuera. Ooh, se me paran los pelos. If you guys can see my goosebumps right now. This is beautiful. This reminds me of something I smelled in a voodoo fete. I think they use this in voodoo a lot. Well, it smells like, when I've been to a lot of voodoo fetes, Haitian voodoo fetes, and so a lot of Haitian mambo's houses smell like this. It smells magical. It smells like Fleur de Water with mint and herbs, you know. This smells to me like a fete, like a voodoo fete, like a voodoo party to the Loa, to the spirits. The Santeria equivalent would be to the Orishas. Beautiful. So let me check out the notes. This came out in 1850. Again, for Marie and Lanlam came out in 1808, so Marie and Lanlam is older. Don't know the notes, but I do pick up on some mint. So let me check out the notes before I go further, because I want to make sure. It's really beautiful. One thing about this, it does smell like Florida water, but there's a difference. This, again, does not have that harsh alcoholic opening that Florida water has. This is just straight up citrus mints. It's sweet, it's beautiful. There's no alcohol smell to it at all. I don't smell no alcohol. You know when you spray a cologne or perfume, that alcohol, that harsh alcoholic aroma comes at first? Not in these two. In fact, not in LT Piver, any LT Piver that you buy, you're not going to smell none of that alcohol. Period, point blank, end of story. I smell the mint. Let me check out the notes. It smells like voodoo. This smells like voodoo to me. And it's beautiful. I like it. So the notes to Eau de Cologne de Princesse, or Princess's Cologne, which came out in the 1850s, is lemon, orange, bergamot, all the citruses, apple, which I don't smell apple in here, but there's apple, neroli, I love neroli, tarragon, and you will smell the mint. The mint gives it that power, that it just brings it out really beautiful. So if you know the history of fragrances, of perfumes, you know that the original perfumes are steeped in history of magic, all right? They were created in Egypt, and so what they are, these are just any random perfumes. What they are is potions in bottles, still used today for the same purposes: seduction, to attract, to bring good fortune, to attract a lover, to make someone feel positive. So perfumes were used to fragrance the body, to appease the gods, to appease the spirits. We love perfumes. Now the perfumes are stronger. There's a reason why we use more colognes in Espiritismo. Perfumes have more concentration oil, so they will last longer on your body. But the problem is that some people are very sensitive to aromas that last long on the body. We use colognes, we use lotion concentrations because they go onto your body, they cleanse you very quickly, and as they dissipate, right, they're removing the negative energy from the person, and they're not offensive to all those around you. You can wear something that, hey, you might like a perfume, but it might be offensive to those around you, while eau de colognes are just to refresh yourself, and they're not really offensive. They're just very simply clean. So this is why we use more colognes or lotions in voodoo, in espiritismo, to quickly cleanse people. So the oldest perfume that we have in existence, they were first created in ancient Egypt around 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. There's history of perfumes being used in Egyptian magic, right? This one right here, Bala Versailles, was created in 1960, and it's supposed to smell like what the court of Versailles would smell like during the time of Marie Antoinette. This is an oriental perfume. It's very strong, very animalic, very sweet and dirty. So perfumes have been around for thousands of years. The first Eau de Cologne, which I don't have, was created in 1709. It's less concentration than a perfume. You can see perfume, all the oils, while colognes are more lighter in color. The first cologne was created in Cologne, Germany in 1709 during the time of King Louis XIV, I think it was. And so they've been around for 250 years. So the first colognes were created as agua maravilla, miracle waters. And believe it or not, people used to drink them, right? And then during the time of Napoleon's favorite eau de Cologne was 4711. This was his magical charm. He used one bottle a month. He was constantly fragrancing his body. So they've been around for 250 years, all right? Now, what people didn't realize, people started using these as colognes. They were not realizing the properties, the magical properties that what they were using. The rich could only afford eau de colognes during that time. And think about it. Think about living in those days when they didn't have the septic sewers and there was rats all over the place. It was a really disgusting, smelly place. So people would walk around with pañuelos, cloths, handkerchiefs, covering their faces to smell the eau cologne. What they didn't realize is that was the beginning of the history of face masks. And not just only the history of the face mask, the history of hand sanitizer or sanitizing oneself. And that is why a lot of the rich and the elite didn't die during the Black Plague. They believe one is because they were always walking around with a handkerchief covering their nose with cologne so they wouldn't smell the foul aromas, the germs that were all over the place. So eau de Cologne was the first hand sanitizer. Now, a lot of people say, there's this false narrative on how eau de colognes became popular in folk magic. Well, colognes and perfumes have always been part of folk magic, right? Since ancient Egypt. In the 1800s, 1700s, when people would faint, they used to have this product. It was called smelling salts. So if someone would faint, they would make them smell the smelling salt, which was a mixture of citric acid and other stuff to revitalize the person, to awaken the person from that faint spell. All right. So citrus, there we go. In the times during slavery, they realized that a lot of, during the hot weather, a lot of the slaves would faint from the heat, from harsh work. They would pass colognes, through the people so that they could reawaken, get back to their senses. That's when they realized it. And it became popular in Espiritismo because they started using it when someone would mount a spirit in Espiritismo. After they had finished mounting the spirit, the person is usually tired, weak. An eau de cologne would not only cleanse the person, but it would also get them back into their senses. Like it would reinvigorate them, it would reawaken the person. So that's a little bit of the history of why we use colognes in folk magic and Espiritismo. Now, unlike perfumes can last on your skin 4 to 8 hours, right? Let's imagine being in a room full of people working spiritually and everyone has this strong perfume. You can't concentrate. Eau de colognes were used because whenever something negative is on top of us, we think about the layers of the aura. So we're going to go from the 4th layer of the aura. So negative energy comes in from the 4th layer of the aura, which is the astral. Then it goes into the 3rd layer of the aura, which is the mental. Then it goes into the emotional, and from the emotional, it goes into the physical. So when we cleanse with a spiritual cologne, all right, and it dissipates within 5 minutes, we cleanse, okay, our nose, try to cleanse the whole head because we absorb a lot of negative energy from our nose, our ear, and the back of our neck. So what we do, you'll see a lot of espiritista. This comes from indigenous spiritual folk practices. You'll see a lot of indigenous people do similar practices with sage and with sacred smoke. So they'll cleanse their hands. They will smell because you're going to cleanse these open areas, and then you're going to cleanse the top of your head, the back, y pa fuera. And as the cologne is dissipating from the body, right, you're going to visualize that aroma is dissipating and all the negative energy is dissipating or being removed from your body and going out into the universe, where it will cleanse, it will annul itself, or just purify itself, but it's going to remove itself from the body. So this is why we use an eau de cologne, and again, it's not offensive and it doesn't bother no one around you. It lets people still concentrate spiritually. It's not strong, it sticks to the skin, the aroma, but the alcohol is the thing that's going to dissipate that negative energy into the universe and away from the body. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot of people are going to ask me where I can pick these up. You can probably pick these up. They're starting to be found in botanicas. If you cannot find them in your botanica, check online. Check on Amazon.com. I also saw them on, I think it's Fragrance Net and Fragrance X. Fragrance X was $25 for 14 ounces. Go check them out. If they don't have them in your botanica, trust me, you're not going to regret them. They are beautiful. They smell clean. They smell amazing. This would be great for if you work espiritismo, if you work voodoo, if you work santeria, for personal cleansing, to refresh yourself, especially during, well, it's getting, we're in the winter. It would be great as Christmas gifts, to your madrina, your padrino, an ahijado, a godchild. It could be as a gift to your spirits, to your loa, to your santos. But this would be a fragrance. Again, it is for male. It's unisex, male, female, non-binary. It's everyone can use it. This would be great on hot days whenever you feel hot and you want to refresh, just like Florida Water 4711. Okay, it's going to refresh you. It's going to rejuvenate you. Get you back into your senses. It's going to make you feel cool in those hot weathers. But spiritually, you can use this anytime. So go check them out. They're amazing. And yeah, I'll always use Florida Water because it's affordable, and I'll probably use the Florida Water, el agua de Florida, during gatherings. But when it comes to for my own personal care, I'll probably use a Eau de Cologne de Princesse and a la Reine de las Fleurs, the Queen of Flowers. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the first time you guys are going to hear about this. Check these out. You're going to love them so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is your host, tu brujo favorito, Sancista Brujo Luis. Ciao. So this is a postscript, a PS to the video where I mentioned the differences between lotion and an eau de cologne. Lotion in English would be like an aftershave or an eau de fraîche. A lotion is often used after a shower. When you take a shower, you splash the lotion to lightly perfume your body. While a cologne can be used as a lotion, it can be used after a shower, but a cologne was used when you were out and before you went to see someone. You wanted to refreshen yourself so you could smell cleaner. Now they're pretty much the same concentration, but again, a lotion is like an aftershave. It's used in the house before you go to bed, after the shower, while a cologne, men's colognes, you can use it all day long, but it's often a cologne or an eau de cologne is something that you use when you're outside and you want to refresh yourself. So I hope this helped. This is Sancista Brujo Luis. Ciao.